ad hoc committee probing insecurity in the southeast seeks the release of Nnamdi Kanu.
Before that, even in the wildest of my dreams, I cannot think of going to my local government of Monguno, even in the wildest of my dreams.
Later on the program, we will turn our attention to the situation in the northeast as Senator Mohammed Monguno from Borno North tells us about the losses incurred in the Boko Haram conflict. This is the Hallowed Chambers on TVC News. I am Tijesu Adiri. The ad hoc committee set up by the House of Representatives to probe the state of insecurity in the southeast says it has met with the leader of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra, Nnamdi Kanu, as part of efforts towards finding sustainable peace and harmony in the troubled region. The lawmakers have also met with the governors of the 5 southeast states and some faith-based groups, as well as other relevant stakeholders critical to the search for peace in the east of Nigeria. My colleague, Joke Adisa, tells us more about the findings of this committee.
In the last few weeks, the ad hoc committee set up to investigate worsening insecurity in parts of Abia State and the southeast region has had its hands full meeting with relevant key actors. Having received the perspectives of all security agencies and service chiefs, the panel proceeded to meet with Nnamdi Kanu as part of measures to put a stop to the sit-at-home in the zone every Monday. The committee is happy its interventions are yielding fruits, with a drastic drop in criminal activities in the region.
The security architecture in these areas has set to work. Criminals and bandits are on the run. Kidnapping activities are dramatically on the decline, and farming and economic activities are on the rise. This is clearly work in progress, but to achieve lasting peace, plans are at an advanced stage to engage the governors of the Southeast.
The committee had called on President Bola Tinubu to release Nnamdi Kanu, and now it is grateful there is light at the end of the tunnel.
Also engaged with Mazi Nnamdi Kanu, I am happy to announce significant progress in this regard, particularly on the need to put a stop to the Monday sit-at-home that has crippled the economy of the Southeast. At this juncture, we wish to appreciate the President and Commander-in-Chief, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, GCFR, for his support and encouragement in the pursuit of peace in the Southeast, which is evidenced by the presence and unconditional support of the service chiefs in all of our public hearings.
Obina Agwocha is happy that criminals, kidnappers and bandits are now on the run from the southeast region following the steps that have been taken so far.
As we have continued to maintain, it is incumbent upon us to come together, transcending our differences in our search for sustainable solutions that will quell these security threats and pave the way for a brighter future. Be assured, Nigerians, that we will not relent in this task until we achieve total peace in Abia State, in Southeast geopolitical zone, and indeed, Nigeria.
The committee is appreciative of the support from Abia State Governor Alex Oti as it calls for unity among all sons and daughters of the region in their quest to reach a collective solution to the crisis of insecurity.
From the story of one ad hoc committee to another, this time the impact of gas flaring in Nigeria has attracted the attention of the House of Representatives. The committee is disappointed with what it describes as the carefree attitude of international oil companies in tackling the issues affecting host communities. The ad hoc committee has asked for vital documents that will ensure the lawmakers carry out due diligence in their investigation.
As for defaulters, the committee is left with no option than to use the data at its disposal of actual gas flared and their equivalent values of recoverable penalties to be paid to the government, and to recommend and submit the relevant security institutions same for further investigation.
We have on record that Chevron is one of the best companies in country, And for the question you asked about what operates in America, we have insisted, we have one of the strongest penguins and insisted that the policies and regulations of Nigeria be adhered to by Chevron, whether it's American or not.
After the break, I will speak with Senator Mohammed Tahir Monguno, representing Borno North Senatorial District. He will respond to the latest UNICEF report on the cost of conflict in northeast Nigeria. It's still the Hallowed Chambers, and my guest today on the program is a senator, Senator Tahir Monguno. He is the senator representing Borno North Senatorial District, and he is also the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters. It's good to have you on the program once again, distinguished.
Thank you very much. It's a pleasure meeting you.
Okay, let's start with the recent tribunal judgment that is in favor of the APC, which is your party. How does this further validate the victory and at the polls and also improve the approval ratings of your party?
Well, the verdict of the tribunal yesterday is a celebration of the fact that the Nigerian judiciary is truly independent. It's a celebration of the fact that the Nigerian judiciary is an avenue whereby aggrieved parties will go to ventilate their grievances, and at the end of the day, justice will prevail. For my party, the APC, is a clear manifestation of the fact that the Nigerian people voted for the APC, voted for President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2023 presidential election. It's a reinforcement and further revalidation, giving muscular tonic to the victory that was achieved by APC in the 2023 presidential election. So the verdict of the tribunal, one, is a celebration of the fact that Nigerian judiciary is truly independent, and further reinforcement and revalidation and legitimization of the victory that was achieved by the APC in the 2023 presidential election. And you know, one thing I want to point out is that Nigerians, politicians in Nigeria, it is high time for them to learn to be gallantry in defeat and magnanimous in victory.
Now, with the polls behind us, let's talk about the Tinubu administration, which has just crossed the 100 days in office mark. But this has not been an easy 100 days for a lot of people. What assurance should the people, I'm talking about Nigerians now, have that government policies and programs will begin to translate, you know, and lead to a better life for Nigerians?
Well, as a member of the National Assembly and also as a member of the APC, of the ruling party, the legislature will collaborate with the executive arm of government with a view to delivering dividends of democracy to the doorstep of the people, and at the same time bringing succor to the lives of Nigerians, especially against the backdrop of the removal of fuel subsidy that has with all the attendant effect of hiking the prices of goods and services, thereby affecting significantly the standard of living of the people. And that is why the National Assembly approved the supplementary budget brought by the executive for the purpose of bringing out palliatives to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy on Nigerians. And that is why every state was given 555 billion naira with a view to bringing out palliatives to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy on Nigerians. And then the federal government also on its own has taken various measures to cushion the effect of the removal of fuel subsidy. Mr. President has already appointed his ministers, with even creating additional new ministries, and the ministers have already hit the ground running with a view to implementing the mandate of their respective ministries. I assure Nigerians that the National Assembly, being a responsible and responsive parliament to the yearnings and aspirations of the people, we are going to do everything possible to make sure that in whatever we do, resolutions that we pass or the bills that we pass are a replica of the wishes and aspirations of Nigerians.
Okay, let's talk about insecurity. A recent UNICEF report reveals that over 10 billion or 100 billion dollars, has been lost in the last 10 years due to the conflict in the Northeast region. How has it been for people in these areas who have been worst hit by this conflict, and how are they building resilience?
Well, thank you very much for this question. I happen to come from the epicenter of Boko Haram insurgency in the Northeast, that is Borno State, and more particularly, even in Borno State, Borno North, my senatorial district, is worst hit by the Boko Haram insurgency. It has brought a lot of displacement of our people. Our people have lost their means of livelihood as a result of the displacement. Our infrastructures have been destroyed. Our economy is in a state of comatose as a result of the Boko Haram insurgency. But we thank God, as a result of the resilience, the zeal, determination that is exhibited, as well as the political will given by the previous government. Boko Haram has been decimated now. Our people have started going back to their respective communities with a view to picking the pieces of their lives. We also want to thank, seize this opportunity to thank our indefectible governor, the governor of Borno State, Professor Babagana Umara Zulum, who has been working round the clock to make sure that these people have returned back to their respective communities. And then the previous government also deserves a pat on the back by creating the Northeast Development Commission that is charged with the responsibility of reconstruction, resettlement, and rehabilitation as a result of the destruction of economic life and infrastructure occasioned by the Boko Haram insurgents. The Boko Haram has been decimated now. The people are going back to their respective communities, and the Northeast Development Commission is also working round the clock with a view to resettlement, rehabilitation, and reconstruction of the region. And we also thank our governor for working around the clock to make sure that the people are returned back to their respective communities in consonance with the Kampala Declaration that urges voluntary and safe return of IDPs and refugees back to their respective communities.
All right, we'll still talk more on that, but we'll have to take a quick break now. Don't go anywhere. We still have more on the program. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
The National Assembly is a busy place. As the bastion of democracy, it is a place where bills are presented, motions debated, laws made, and the yearnings of the people are laid bare. Come with us as we take you through the workings of the National Assembly. We take you through plenary, committee meetings, and probes, all to ensure smooth working of the democratic process.
Welcome back to the Hallowed Chambers, and my guest still remains distinguished Senator Tahir Monguno, the chairman of the Senate Committee on Judiciary, Human Rights and Legal Matters. Now let's go back to the discussion of insecurity. How would you describe the state of affairs in the Northeast region? Would you say that insecurity has been fought down to a standstill, or there are still more grounds to conquer?
Well, there is significant improvement with regard to the issue of insecurity in the northeastern part of the country. before the advent of the Buhari administration, 2/3 of the local governments in my state are effectively under the Boko Haram control. The Boko Haram has hosted their flags there. They are administering those local governments. But with the advent of the Buhari administration, the political will given, the political will and leadership given, coupled with the zeal, the resilience and the sacrifice displayed by the Nigerian military, for which in the process some of them have to pay the supreme price, may their soul rest in perfect peace. Boko Haram were rooted out of these local governments that were hitherto in effective control, and civil authority, Nigerian flag were returned back, semblance of governance in accordance with the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria was restored in these local governments. And before that, even in the wildest of my dreams, I cannot think of going to my local government of Monguno, even in the wildest of my dreams. In fact, the 2015 election was conducted in Maiduguri in IDP camp. All our elections were conducted in an IDP camp in Maiduguri, not in our respective localities. But as I told you earlier on, as a result of these two factors of leadership and then the resilience of the Nigerian military, even the 2019 elections were conducted in our respective local governments because people have now returned back to their respective communities. And then ditto 2023 election also were conducted in our respective local governments, not in IDP camps when we conducted the 2015 general. So this is a clear manifestation of the fact that the level of security has tremendously improved compared to what it was before. As I told you before, even in the wildest of my dreams, I cannot think of going to my hometown of Monguno, talk less of touring the whole senatorial district. But 2019 and 2023 elections, we are able to go to all the local governments, 10 local governments of northern Borno, canvassing for votes, canvassing, campaigning and what have you. Before, even in the wildest of our dreams, we cannot do that. So there's tremendous improvement in the level of security. The people have gone back to, most people have gone back to their respective communities, though we still have challenges in two local governments in Borno, that is Abadam and Guzamala local government. We still have a lot of challenges with regard to the issue of complete normalcy. But that notwithstanding, compared to what it was before, there's tremendous improvement.
Now, coming from an area that has been badly affected by the Boko Haram conflict, what kind of legislation are you taking to the National Assembly that will strengthen, the reconstruction and rehabilitation and resettlement of the people in your region?
Well, in the 8th Assembly, I'm one of those who championed the creation of the Northeast Development Commission for the purpose of bringing succor to the lives of the people affected by the crisis, as well as the reconstruction, resettlement and rehabilitation of these areas that is affected by the crisis. And we thank God, Mr. President, the former President Buhari, assented to the bill, and the Northeast Development Commission was formed, and it has kicked the ground running for the purpose of delivery of dividends of democracy to the doorsteps of our people. This is what was done before. And then moving forward, as a senator, what I intend to do is, one, making sure that there is robust appropriation to the Nigerian military so that they will have all the wherewithal to continue with the fight against insurgency in the Northeast. It is not over until it is over, because there are still remnants of Boko Haram insurgents that are causing havoc in the hinterland. So one thing that I will do is that I will make sure that there is robust appropriation for the Nigerian military to be able for them to discharge their mandate. And then two, I also sponsored a bill to reject the anti-terrorism laws that we have, so that it can effectively be able to handle the issues of terrorism that we have in the country. You know, this terrorism and criminality is an evolving thing, and laws are supposed to be dynamic. They are supposed to change with the changing times, so that at any given point in time, the laws will be able to adequately take care of the evolving situations. So I sponsored the bill on the amendment to our terrorism laws, so that it will reflect the objective and subjective realities that we have on ground, with a view to tackling them.
All right, let's talk about the distribution and implementation of palliative measures, especially in your own region. What is your assessment of the situation? How effective would you say it has been, and what level of impact has it made on the life of people, you know, and easing the prevailing hardship?
Well, Borno State, and more particularly my governor, is well known across the nooks and crannies of the country, even before the advent of the present palliatives that was doled out as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. My governor has been embarking upon distribution of palliatives or foodstuffs and what have you since inception of office. We have been going around the states to all the nooks and crannies of the state, and this is doing so against the backdrop of the fact that our people have been displaced, they have lost their means of livelihood, and they need all the support for them to survive. So since inception of office from 2019 to date, even before the palliatives that is being doled out as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy, in Borno State, our governor has been going around the clock and distributing palliatives. And even with regard to the present palliatives, we have already commenced. The state government has already commenced distribution of palliatives across the nooks and crannies of the state, and it has gone a long way in giving succor to the people, because of the fact that prices of foodstuffs have skyrocketed. It has been so because of the rising cost of the prices, and it is beyond the income of our people. So this palliatives that is being distributed has gone a long way in giving them succor and ameliorating the hardships that was unleashed as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy.
Okay, on a final note, because of time, let's quickly talk about the recent concerns raised over the decision of the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission to increase the prices of electricity meters by 40%. Is this an issue that we are going to see senators take up at the resumption from their recess? Because I know that they spoke about something like this before they went on the break.
Yes, be rest assured that the Nigerian Parliament, the National Assembly, being a parliament that is responsible and responsive to the yearnings and aspirations of the people will do everything possible within the ambit of the laws to jealously guard and protect the interests of Nigerians, because we are here to serve them. They gave us the mandate to come here to serve them. So in all our actions and deeds, we will make sure that their interest is jealously guarded and protected within the ambit of the laws. Even before we went to recess, this issue has been on the front burner, and a resolution has been passed that the Nigeria Electricity Regulatory Commission should tarry a while, because already a lot of hardship has been unleashed on the people as a result of the removal of fuel subsidy. And then for us to go and then increase the electricity tariff will like putting salt into injury. It will further exacerbate the sufferings of Nigerians. So be rest assured that by the time we come back on recess, this issue is going to be in the front burner of the discussions in the Senate and in the whole National Assembly, because we are representative of the people and we will do everything possible to protect them.
That is our program this week. Remember, you can always watch a repeat broadcast at 7 a.m. on Sunday. Also, you can see this episode again on TVC News YouTube channel. Do not forget to subscribe, like, and share. Thank you for watching. I am Tijesu Adeyi. See you next time.